Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, a guide to fast casual fortunes. You got myself, Brandon Haught, here as a co-host, and then we got Joe Collin.
What up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Gro?
You know, pretty good considering we just had the one of the wildest weeks of our existence.
Yeah,
It's
it kind of is it's a nice feeling to sit here and have this podcast, you know, and turn off my phone for an hour and not have to deal with whatever's going to pop up.
we were talking to some guys last week. We're like, listen, hard times are part of the experience. It's what happens, and then, bam.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably hear that podcast like that. I think we mentioned that in the last podcast with our new production company.
Yeah, the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, and then our truck blew up, right? That
Yep.
diesel. It had like 150,000 miles on it, and then which we thought was a good investment. And then like we were headed to our biggest event of the weekend on Saturday, and our van broke down.
Yeah, I look at the phone at like 6 a.m. and they're like, "Hey, I can't turn and I can't stop. I don't know if we should go 2 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, probably don't do that." He didn't know it, but had he kept driving, he would have grenaded that motor too because there was nothing going on. So
yeah, that's what they said. The guy that fixed it said there was like no coolant left.
yeah.
And then same week, commercial freezer broke.
Yeah, at an event.
The rice
It's like
box.
the dumbest thing
Yeah.
possible. Like
Yeah.
the bar in the front, a rice box fell and hit it and blew it out. And there's electricity
So you
through the
would
bar.
Yeah, something you would never expect.
So stupid.
Then we had a blowout on a trailer, a tire, same week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on our way to an event we ended up being late for.
So it was just Midland, like 40 minutes from us. I'm calling all the places over there. And I call one tow truck company that I won't name. And the guy's like, "Wait, so you want me to come take this tire off and take it to a tire place and wait for them to fix it and then bring it back?" I'm like, "Uh-huh. Yeah, I want you to do that. And I want to give you money for that. Like, I don't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
Just do that." He's like, "No." So my brother works for a tow truck company in town. I call him. I'm like, "Hey, is there any way you can do this?" He's like, "What size tire is it?" I tell him. He's like, "I have that on my truck right now."
Yeah, what are the chances?
What are the chances of that?
Yeah.
He was there in like 20 minutes. He goes, "That trucking company was there because I changed the tire in like 5 minutes right in front of him." He's like, the guy looks so ticked off the whole time.
He was there?
Yeah. He just happened to be at the gas station
Wow,
also.
no way.
Yeah, add to it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, bud.
Wow. He didn't have to go out of his way to even do this. That's crazy.
I'm like, what are the chances this guy, I don't know if he's just like, let me go see if this guy's lying or something. But
Yeah.
whatever.
And then we made the news. One of our guys.
Okay, so this is the week we've had.
Same week.
I said to my wife, like, what's funny is the day before the truck blows up, I'm like, we can't go, because something else stupid. I'm like, we can't go a day without something happening. And then just every day. So, okay, all this happens, and then
It's Saturday.
it's Saturday. We're doing a catering. Well, so already we had this day a truck breakdown, tire pop,
Same day.
same day. And then we're doing a catering. And we're in Michigan, which there's not a whole lot of weather activity in Michigan. But 1 in 5 year tornado directly where we're catering.
Like the one spot we happen to be in, and on top of that, we made the Midland Daily News because like one of our guys like recorded a short clip of it, and like he said he could literally see the tornado forming and touch down. And I read about it, and it touched down for 10 minutes, and they were right in the middle of it.
Golly, man.
Fortunately, though, like nothing was damaged, and we got the catering done. But that's been our whole week, man. It's been a tornado.
We'll literally go through tornadoes just to serve some people. I blame you, man. You're the faith. You have the faith. Think did you stop praying or something for a week? I don't
Need to
know
get back to that, bro.
I do always have a feeling like when things are just constantly going like this, if you keep your head up, if you just move forward, that something big happens afterwards.
Yeah, I mean we're getting through it, and like maybe it's Providence or whatever. But the crazy thing is that we bought a backup unit truck.
Oh,
2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, and we're like,
just for because we're like, hey, we probably need something in case something happens.
yeah, exactly.
We jinxed ourselves.
We did, but we got a good deal on it. It's a nice unit. It's the one that broke down on Saturday, but it was only a belt. It was only a belt, a serpentine belt, and some other things. So,
Which in that case we got super lucky because if a serpentine belt breaks, it's usually like a pulley broke or
Yeah.
something else went wrong, and it was just a belt. So lucked out there actually.
Yeah, and so like I mean, we do have the capacity to keep going. It didn't really stop us from doing too much. So
3-4 years ago, we would have been toast.
Yeah.
Like, well, 1 unit's down. We're losing 5 days of production, and luckily we always talk about how the more we're doing, the more lazy we become, or we just find people to start filling spots. But we recently started working with I don't know if you call him a mechanic, a handyman, but
yeah.
Nate's been a godsend. Like, the guy has been here multiple nights till 4 a.m. fixing things that were like mission critical. Like that freezer. If the freezer was done, like
we're talking reaching $3,000 like heavy.
Yeah, not like you go to ABC warehouse and pick up another one. So he saved her butt there. He fixed the van. He saved her butt on that. He's been huge, and much gratitude to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
The people we're coming across lately, man, has been like a game changer for us.
Had some weird stuff happening.
Yeah. So the tow guy, I know him as the tow guy because
I know
how
we always say the tow guy.
Yeah, I say the tow guy.
Literally until maybe last week I didn't know his name. I'd see him be like, "Hey, tow guy."
He's literally saved in my phone as the tow guy, and that's because like one year we had like 9 to 15 different tows in the matter of like 2 months, and he was always the guy to do it. And that's how I got to know him. Like I had his phone on speed dial, like tow guy, hey, 1 a.m, dude, I need a tow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And he was there, man.
He was, yeah.
And he's always, what the thing is, like, there's a thing about somebody always being there. That's cool. But he's literally always there with a smile and like happy, and like, cool, I'm ready to help. It's like, who are you, man?
I know, right? And he takes the time to figure out things. Like that's what I like too. It's not just like, hey, like what's wrong with it? He takes the time to talk to people and say like, what's going on, so he can diagnose it, and then like he makes sure it's done right.
Like out of one unit, the lights kept going out, the trailer lights, and he's like, I'll figure it out. Well, it wasn't just like, I'll figure it out. He had to gut the trailer. He had like the big stand-up freezer outside of it, and the back, like across the rib, it rubbed raw. So every time we fixed the fuse, it would just hit the middle and pop again. So he probably spent 15 hours fixing that.
Yeah. Which is that was a problem we've been having for months, and we took to multiple shops to try to find. Yeah. And they couldn't do it. And
well, I mean, they weren't going to dive in like that. Like that would have cost us. Yeah. Who knows how much at $200 an hour.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like on the something I just found out too, like I think he told me in the past, but he just brought back up. I totally forgot about is that diesel that blew up. Like it was the brakes were squealing or something, right? And then come to find out, like in that diesel, the power steering is what controls the brakes. So like they were like,
the more you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff you don't think of.
And then the second relationship we just kind of fostered or came up with is that production company, which I said you're going to see that. You're probably going to see that podcast first because we brought him in and did an interview with him. But like honestly, man,
what's his last name?
Wesley Weston.
Yeah.
Or Weston Wesley. I get it mixed up, bro. I think it's Wesley Weston.
Yeah.
No, it's Weston Wesley. That's what it is. But his company, it's like Win Visuals. Just working with them is like totally upped our content. You know?
Well, and it's exciting for us. We're seeing young guys that are like ambitious and have a sparkle in their eye. Maybe don't have. They don't maybe know the path they're going down, but they know they want to go somewhere. So I think a little direction, a little couple of big breaks. I said in that podcast, like you're going to get to a point where you're surprised you're turning stuff down. And I think that will happen for him for sure. They just, you can tell he's got the charisma and the excitement around it. So I think he's going to do stuff for sure.
Yeah, well, and also, like I said, like what I like about it too is like they're helping us with the podcast to move forward. We're actually using their equipment right now. They're going to help us produce that. They went down to Jameer Gibbs. We talked about that. They went to Blake Corum, and just recently they filmed Gucci Berry and Wide Neck, and I just posted that, and that was a super cool experience, dealing with those guys.
List of random things that Brandon brings up. So I'm driving back from. somewhere with my wife. And I just start laughing. I'm like, what? She's like, what? I'm like, I don't even, you won't understand. She doesn't watch anything like social media wise. I'm like, there's these guys that are, big on social media, and they're going to apparently do something with us. So just so random, man. You're the king of random. So like,
king of random.
Speaking of random, so last night at like 8:00, you're like, bro. Every message Brandon sends starts with bro, and you're just
it usually ends that way too.
correct. But the problem is, it's usually at like midnight, and I'm sleeping, so all I get is bro, and I'm just like. And you don't get up till like 11, so I'm like, what was the bro? I don't know for hours. I'm in pins and needles. And it's usually like, I had the best food. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's it.
That wasn't worth a bro. That was like a,
Yeah.
But last night I get a bro. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, I'm sitting in a movie theater with Calvin Johnson. And when he said with Calvin Johnson, like he was there with Calvin Johnson. Just... That's your life. You do some weird things, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Kenny Brooks was there too. But
yeah, it was cool. Like, so you actually you called up Kenny on the way down there and had an extra ticket, right?
Yeah, extra seats for him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then he came. Like,
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool just to hang out, and I got to meet his wife, which was really awesome, and brought my wife. It was kind of like a date thing. We kind of, it was like 2 hours away, so we made a trip out of it. But yeah, just talking.
Once again, canceled the podcast that will never happen.
Yeah, right.
Peter's never getting on here.
I know. That's how I was feeling.
Like we've been so close that he was sitting in these chairs, and then it happened. And then you got to go to hang out with Calvin Johnson and Kenny Brooks to see a movie premiere.
It was a good movie, man. But the
what's funny too? Like, I'm gonna blow up your spot here. You've never even seen the original Beverly Hills Cops.
I've never seen any of them. Isn't this the fourth one?
I think it's 3, but I don't know. But that movie was such a classic growing up. That was like that Die Hard.
Dude, and they had the original soundtrack in that movie. I'm telling you, they had some 80s music.
Oh,
that's
in the so background. Good. That's what's good about it.
Really?
What's funny? I'm gonna. Take a little credit here. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I said the 80s is coming back so hard. Remember when we were going to do the Nitro trailer, and we are doing like an 80s theme, and it is everything right now. It is, everywhere you see is like 80s style,
which is so long ago now.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. It'd be like the 50s and the 90s.
It's like the same distance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That is wild.
It is super wild. Bringing back the 50s and the 90s, bringing back the 80s and the 2020s. But what was cool is too, also while I was down there, man, like that's one thing is like you get put in these situations and it's cool to enjoy, but I never really stop like looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And so like Calvin had a Q&A. Like he sat like almost directly behind us, like like maybe 2 seats over, but in the beginning he was up in the front doing a Q&A.
Oh, really?
And then the lady next, the lady like 2 seats down from me said that she owned a cannabis company and she wanted Calvin to come out there. And then when he answered her question, got done, I started talking to her. I was like, hey, we got a food truck. If you
Brandon,
guys,
always on.
Yeah, if you guys ever need anything. And she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, I'm giving you my manager's number. I texted her manager, and they're having a grand opening, and they want us to come out. So
that's so perfect.
Yeah. So, it's cool to do all these things, but there's always opportunities outside of that, which I'm always looking for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that goes back to what we are talking about before, where you just can't be afraid to ask. Like, you're definitely. It's funny. I was at the bank today. The girl's like, "Isn't it this company?" I'm like, "Oh, good memory." She's like, "Yeah, there's 2 of you guys. I can never keep it straight." I'm like, "Is one a big loud dude?" She's like, "Yeah, he's always telling us about the trucks and what's going on." I'm like, "Yeah, always on, man." So we were laughing.
That's hilarious.
She knew our whole story. I'm like,
Yep.
Must have been here a minute one
right?
day.
I was. Yeah. Like we get to know those guys by name, man. And then one left, and it's just like, now I got to
Noah.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. And I kind of got to bust his chops. Noah left and went to a food distributor. And you told me that, and I messaged him like, hey, surprised I haven't heard from you. He's like, oh, I'm just learning everything. I was going to hit you up. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to have to hit him up again. You know, he hasn't given give me numbers yet, so got to figure that out.
What I'm excited about, I think I mentioned this to you. I'm not sure, but like, the more we talk about these stories, what's really cool is, man, is like we still try to work with like local people, like small businesses, anybody we can that's like that we can help grow also that can grow with us. And one of those is our dessert guy, like the cheesecakes that we get from TJ Loopy's Trevor. So
Where is that at?
He's in Houghton Lake.
Oh, Houghton Lake. Okay.
Yeah, he delivers all the way from Houghton Lake, and we were his first retail customer.
That's cool.
So yeah, how sick is that? Yeah,
it was kind of funny. He was here. That was like midnight, I think.
It was.
We're working on something. All of a sudden, the door flies open. I'm like, who's this?
That's the first time I ever met him in person. We've been
that
dealing
weird?
with him for 6 months.
He's been to our shop multiple
Yeah.
times. Big delivery came in today, and the big freezer had cheesecake over it. I'm like, sounds fun.
I bet.
6 a.m. trying to figure
Move
out
right.
freezer space. But yeah, that was cool. It was kind of fun. He was like, "You guys are maxing me out. Like I can't handle much more." I'm like, that's cool, man. So it's really nice to help people like that.
Well, me and him talked for like an hour after you left, maybe longer, and his story's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. And I started talking to him about the podcast. And he wants
Is it
to be
coming
on
on?
it. He wants to be on it. Yeah. And so I think that's gonna be super cool, especially because like he. I want to give you a little bit, but I don't want to give you too much. He used to be a health inspector, and then he went from that, and he said that he was inspecting somebody's equipment, and then they're like, it was lemonade, and I'll just say that, and then they're like, we're getting out of the game, you can buy it if you want, and he's like, kind of laughed at it and stuff, and then he like he was thinking about the numbers they were telling him and like how they were doing, and
Why would you get out of lemonade?
yeah, and then he talked to his wife, and she got on board with it. And then that was kind of like his, like after he got out of the inspections, he got into lemonade, and now he has a brick and mortar. He does his passion's always been cheesecakes, but he's got a really cool story, and he's just so passionate about what he does, especially the cheesecakes. Like this guy's like a perfectionist, and so that's one thing we talk about. Like I said, I don't want to give too much, but he's up to like 82 flavors of cheesecakes. And his goal is to get to 100.
So his objective is to have more.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't sell them all. There's specials like this really cool thing is coming up. I'm gonna shout this out for you, Trevor. But like I think it's in July. He's gonna have like ice cream themed event. And it's gonna be all ice cream themed cheesecakes.
That's really smart.
Yeah. So he does really cool events like that, and he changes the flavors based on the theme.
Okay. Did he create a flavor for us?
Yeah.
Which one?
It was Supernom. And what's crazy is that was the first time he's ever created that flavor, so that added to his list.
Cool.
And it's still an exclusive to us. He says he said he won't sell it to anybody else but us.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, and he said he has people coming in the store all the time asking for it.
So he has a storefront.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. We should put that on social.
Yeah, he's got a storefront, and he does like ice cream. He added hand scooped ice cream. So he does cheesecake, hand scooped ice cream, and lemonade.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thinking about that, like that is the entrepreneur grind. Like it was midnight, and him and his wife are showing up with a cheesecake delivery. Like okay, if you know anything about the bakery business, he probably was up at 3 or 4 in the morning, right? Yeah. I mean, that's when you start in the bakery. So he was probably almost 24 hours in by the time he left here.
Yeah.
Which that's the entrepreneur grind, man. I love it. It sucks in the moment, but
yeah,
it is admirable.
Yeah, he's a super awesome dude, and like I said, he's like coming from the other brands that we came from. I really enjoyed him.
I talked to Kevin today.
You did?
Yeah. He's like, man, I want to work with you guys again, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. I'm like, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And especially when you're asking for custom flavors.
He actually was like, you guys should buy us.
Nah.
Yeah.
Really?
He did, yeah. I was like,
are those gears turning or what? Hey.
It'd be cool to own a legacy brand.
Yeah. That's been around since the 70s.
Yeah. And it's known. And he even said it like, he's like, I can't do retail the way I should, because we're kind of maxed out on production right now. And you start get thinking about this, like, so your variable right now is bigger equipment, more equipment. Like, okay, what is that? He's like, well, if I had a third person coming in at a third shift, like, you got the answers.
Yeah,
so,
people, equipment.
Yeah, so, but Kevin owns a couple other large businesses, so it's kind of a passion thing for him anyways. But yeah, I think there would be
That's very
potential
interesting.
there. Yeah, it is very interesting. And we got talking. I'm like, retail is so tricky. Like we're learning that right now with the sauce. The numbers are not super appealing.
Mhm.
Like you have to do big volume to make it really.
You really do.
Yeah, but I started thinking like we maybe know some production guys. We maybe know a good sales guy.
Yeah.
Probably
We got a team.
could probably overwork that whole thing, but
I mean, just what we were doing alone is like
we could support it on
substantial.
ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting when we get into talking about investing in other
It's funny.
companies and
Real time. We hadn't talked about that before this.
no.
So.
Yeah, man, I'm finding the news like as soon as you guys
Yep,
are.
breaking news.
But we just had. I feel like the more we talk, recently, like the more conversations we're having about opportunities to expand our operations, maybe
Yeah.
join forces with other people, and even maybe invest in other companies, which is really cool.
It's funny, the production guys, when I showed up, I just met them last week for the first time when we did that show. One of the first things they were talking about was like, man, we don't know if we can trust people and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, that's the hard part about business. I'm like, in business, you got to, we learned after several times beating our head off the wall, you got to treat business like business, unfortunately. You can make those reads on people and make some judgment calls, but eventually, if you're going to do anything, you got to trust somebody. You got to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is trying to do something, right? So if you take the view of like, how can I help them? What can I do for them? Which I think we naturally have. We've never even talked about it, but I think, even when we brought that up, it's like, how can we help these guys? They're probably going to listen to this, and you guys should know we've been talking about you, trying to figure out what to do for you. But
they're definitely listening to it. They're helping edit this thing.
yeah, so there's a little sneaky slide in there, but it really is. You gotta partner with people. You gotta work with other businesses if you're going to do something cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get over that fear.
And like we've talked about all this, like if you guys go back and listen to the first season, like we break down a lot of things you go through as a new food truck owner, as a new business owner in general. And, you get so excited about what you're doing, like the passion for production, the passion for serving food, the passion for cheesecake baking, whatever you're doing, you forget about all the rest of the stuff that is involved in business.
Yeah.
You forget about the accountant, the QuickBooks, your inventory, your stock, your margins. You have to know all that stuff to be successful.
Yeah,
And,
it's all part of it. We were sitting after a concert on Sunday. We were sitting at the casino at like, I don't know, midnight, 12:30, just looking at our numbers going, some things weren't things weren't adding up, and we're trying to figure out percentages, and you have to know that. Otherwise, you're spinning the wind. So.
And stay on top of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one
it's
thing.
It's ever evolving, yeah.
Yeah. Especially like product changes, labor, seasonal things. Like a lot of these things they're set, like they're fixed variable, like they're fixed cost, but they're not set in stone. They can change. They can change on product cost. They can change on season. Like we talked about, if we don't have a big event, like we are sending multiple units out.
We're learning a lot with that.
Yeah, we're sending we're sending multiple units out. 2 could do bad and 1 could do good, but then your labor's way up on something like that, So those are things that we're still figuring out. And
when it was 1 unit, it was like, okay, this is all very obvious.
Yeah.
It's cut and dry, and now we have multiple units going out 7 days a week. You really have to look at it, and you're very good. I mean, you do all of the booking, and you're very good at knowing what's worked in the past. That's another thing that's really impressive. You do this with no database, which is not optimal for a business, because I realize this a lot of times at 7 a.m. when you're not answering. I'm like, I don't know where anybody's going, and everybody's asking me questions. So maybe not the greatest system there, but like, hey, we did this last time. This is the number we did. You have that like all in your noggin, which is really impressive. We probably need to figure out a system for that, like an Excel sheet or something. But you need to remember those things. You need to know those things. Especially if you want to be more than just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, if you're looking to grow it all, if you're looking to be, even if you're looking to rely solely on the business's income, like you have to know how much you're taking home. You know what I'm saying? And you have to pay attention to stuff. You're right, dude. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, there's a lot of, I do remember a lot of places on what we do in sales, and
Yeah.
like, you know, and then we should be writing it down and documenting it.
yeah, it would 100% behoove us to do that.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, if you break an ankle or incapacitated, I'm really going to be guessing at some stuff. So
yeah. So that's something that we could do in the off season. You're good at the spreadsheet things.
Yeah.
That's what you're good at, all the numbers and things like that. You were tracking daily sales a lot
Yeah.
too, so we could almost do that by location. Do you still do that stuff?
Mhm.
Like weekly costs and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's so helpful to know. Like that opened our eyes a lot to, what we're
yeah.
actually making.
yeah, it's we always get into me talking about numbers, but it is like because it's weird in business. If you're not paying attention to it, your money will it will go places.
Yeah.
You know, it suddenly finds a way to be spent. And if you're not paying attention to it, at the end of the month, you can go, "What happened?" You know, as on top of it as we are, you probably get so annoyed at me every morning. You're like, I have 100 screenshots of our bank account. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What? But you have to be on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a JR haircuts for $19 for some random reason.
Hey, that's a good deal. $19?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I don't know about that.
Hopefully you do.
It must be, that's a kid's cut, so I must actually give him my kid's card. Oh man, thanks company.
Yeah.
I just took my kid to get his hair cut. I must have put the wrong
Yeah,
card
it's
in.
not like I care. But
That's
I'm just-
hilarious, bro.
But yeah, no, believe me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Brandon's apologized for taking like $3 out of the safe before.
Usually for doozies.
Yeah, for doozies. I'm like, if it's under $100, they don't even talk to me about it.
Yeah, that's
but
funny.
it is, you know, you need, and the hard part is like, you know, Peter was in here the other day when we were trying to do a podcast, and you could just tell the guy's been going nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure taking time out to look at stuff like that for him is probably not on his list. But if he's not doing it, like an accountant, somebody.
Oh, what's crazy is me and him had that conversation today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he said with his food costs and his labor and things like that, he said his margins have dropped like 15%.
Yeah.
So and just recently. So
Well,
he must be up on date.
So
That's funny you
he's,
said that.
he's paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some people who would have no idea.
Right.
You know, and 15%. I don't know if he talked about his number last year, but I can figure that out real quick because, you know, it's got a 4 in front of it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of zeros. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
It's substantial.
That is gone for some reason.
He knew it was food costs and labor and things like that because now he's got a guy working for him a lot of the time while he's working on the restaurant.
Yeah.
So he's got that restaurant opening up. But he said that he's growing and he said his numbers.
But then he can go back and go, okay, is it food cost?
Is it what?
It's my niece from Florida. Is it food cost because this guy is not controlling the cost because he's out there on his own now? Or is it food cost because he's trying something new? But the fact that he knows gives him a starting point.
Right.
So he can go, hey, look, for some reason, when I was doing this, my cost was 15% less.
Yeah.
Man. So if you're not paying attention to that, all of a sudden 40 grand's gone. You don't know why.
Yeah.
Or when you're on top of it, you can change that on the fly. So
what is really encouraging, man, is like I was about to say he knows his numbers from last year too, and he knows that he's up I think he's up like 100% from over last year, and like on a day-to-day basis. And what's really cool is like there's a lot of trucks saying that this year. I know like a lot of them are having to raise their prices and food costs are still going up, but it seems like the food truck industry is still doing well, and the guys that are doing it right are still seeing a lot of growth.
yeah.
And it's really cool to see like the barbecue guys, the burger guys. Peter's one of them. But it's just awesome to see that these people building their brands, and a lot of them became friends with us.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see them succeed.
100, yeah, that's. I mean, Javi's adding on a second unit, so there'll be. I don't know if he's going to do burgers with it, but there'll be more burger options. Tiki Sam's got another unit coming on. A lot of these
about
guys,
to launch. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are stepping up, and it is really good to see.
I'd like to get Baby Bear on the show too.
Yeah.
Marshawn. He's a guy that when he launched, we had a lot of good conversations. We're friends. We talk all the time, and he was voted best burger in Jackson. But he's kind of going a different route, and I kind of really he's putting like all of his eggs in the restaurant basket, and I'd love to see how that's going because he's getting all new up like his restaurant has had a full makeover. It looks amazing, and he's going drive through. He's got some seating, but and then having Pete open the restaurant too, man. It's just it's a world that I'm not super familiar with. You're a little more, but it's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is the word for it.
Let me ask you this, though, because I don't know if I want to drop this news yet, but we're supposed to be opening a food truck somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a permanent location.
Yeah.
Do you think that's very comparable to a restaurant or no?
No.
Having a food truck in one spot?
No. No, there's so many things you're not even considering with a restaurant.
Really?
Like, for example, a couple things Peter's running into already where there are multiple entities that have a say-so in your production, right?
Yeah, you're
so
right.
Some things are out of your hand, and you are the location we're going to. There's a staff, there's a crew that's already figured out these logistics,
Okay.
these problems. There is, you can never estimate your actual utility cost. My utility cost was more than my rent, and my rent was substantial. My rent was $5,000. My
Utilities were more.
Utilities were more.
Wow.
These are things you're not considering. So, like, you're going to have a 10,000 square foot, 15,000 square foot facility with all lights on for 19, 20 hours a day. You have a full kitchen, with huge hood systems that are, you're heating the front, sucking the heat out in the back with a hood system. You don't
for
think
Michigan,
about that.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, our water was enormous because what are you doing? You're washing dishes all day. So there's a lot of variables you don't think about, and staffing it. The smartest restaurants you see. There's a restaurant in Saginaw called Peter and Chai's, and it's the size of this room.
Okay.
Legitimately.
Uh-huh.
And they put out some of the best Oriental food you'll ever have, Thai and Japanese and Chinese. But there's 3 people that work there: this mom, dad, and son. At all times, that's all that's there. So, their labor cost is nothing.
Low overhead, yeah.
Their variable cost is nothing. It probably takes a candle to heat the place. So that is maybe the most appealing thing to me. If we were to maybe to get something into that, like three seats, drive-through business, takeout business. That's like a food truck.
I'll be honest with you, like not to bring it up too much, but like your restaurant had a drive-through, bro. And like I said so many times, like I think this would just work if it was just a drive-through, because like because me and you've talked about like if we were to open one, drive-through is the way to go. But even now, I don't know if I can think of a single hibachi drive-through restaurant.
It probably would have worked. Now, no matter how good that would have done, so many other variables weren't.
You're right.
Yeah, we didn't. There's a reason I'm so analytical now.
Yeah.
There's a reason, like, I know pennies. And we got a little loosey-goosey in the last year, almost by necessity with our overhead. But there's a reason I'm such a freak about it, because it doesn't take much. When you're talking in the food restaurant industry, I think the national average is 7%. 7% disappears fast.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take much to be -3.
Mm-hmm.
We got pretty fat margins in food trucks, but you still got to watch it. But if you're not doing everything right in restaurants, you're gonna not have a long road.
One of the issues I remember you telling me about the restaurant too is like over ordering, right? Didn't you say you had a lot of food?
Yeah. So again, not being as involved as I should have. I came in one day when Cisco was bringing the food, and I see him coming off the truck with 6 cases of chicken, which these are big cases of chicken, full chickens. We'd break them down.
Full chickens.
Full chicken.
Wow.
It would get broke down in the kitchen. I mean, we did this legit. We'd get full loins, break them down. You know, that may be another dumb thing because you got so much labor in that, but I don't know. It was really good.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing. Yeah.
But I look in the freezer or the fridge, and there was as many cases of chicken in the fridge as they were bringing in. Now, a case of chicken in the fridge, a week,
Yeah.
maybe, probably not even that. So I know I'm tossing 8 cases of chicken.
Wow.
And I didn't know, like, I didn't realize this. They were ordering milk from Cisco. Well, this is 2007, right?
Yeah.
So if you can go back and think what a jug of milk was, we were paying $7 for a jug of milk.
Really?
And they're ordering like 5 to 10 at a time.
Was it that long ago? Wasn't it 2017?
Sorry, 2017.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Because I just remember my barbecue.
Yeah,
It started
yeah.
because of you guys.
Yeah.
So
I black out that time in my life.
I bet
But
we just went right past it.
Going from
Yeah.
$1
Yeah.
to $7, and then you know who knows how many times that was happening.
Jeez.
So Jim, who we're actually doing an event with on Thursday, we got to go over that. He owns a restaurant in town. He said he works from 4 a.m. till 4 a.m. But he said he's like, I'll leave the restaurant at 1.
Wow.
And he doesn't do breakfast. Okay, so think about that.
Yeah.
Like he's getting there at probably 6 realistically, and that is to prep for lunch starting at 11, and then he's going. I think they close at 10. So all the extra stuff. I mean, he still has to. He does everything from scratch, so he's over the top. But he's figuring out the menu. He's figuring out. He's doing his end-of-day books. He's there till 1. So it takes that to do it too.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot.
He's another guy that's doing really well though too.
He is. He'll say it. He's maybe a little bit crazy, not right in the head, because he's taking on more projects. I wish what are you doing, man? He's like, what else am I going to do?
Right.
It's like people have multiple restaurants. Okay, sure. So, and the other restaurant is an hour away from Mount Pleasant. So,
Yeah. That's where we're headed, right? Jeez.
Yeah, on Thursday.
And then, but he's also building like a upstairs bar.
Yeah.
A rooftop bar.
Yeah,
Or something like. Yeah.
It's really cool. I walked by that today. Yeah, he's again, like Peter. He's an artist. He's a chef. He thinks a little bit outside the box. He's creative. I really admire those people, but it's a lot of work, man.
It is.
You got to really be into it. And he even said, he's like, nah, I'm not getting rich. You know? And if you look at I'm not going to guess his numbers, but I'm sure it's 3 to 5 million probably a year. Think about doing that much volume and 7% of that goes in your pocket. That's tough.
That's a lot of work
if you're killing it.
Yeah.
If you're really keeping your stuff tight, it's a lot of work. So you got to have more than just money in your mind.
Yeah, and that's the thing about owning a food truck. And I spoke with someone about this, and it might have been on Weston. They got the Bird's Eye View podcast, so it might have been on that podcast that I was on with them. But like, you got to sacrifice now or later when it comes to like owning your own business. And me and you are choosing to sacrifice now in the present. When I say now, last 6 years, like we're expanding and we're growing, but we don't take much from the company, right? You got a guy like Jim. Like, how long can you keep that pace? You know what I'm saying? So you do got to think about the future. Like, if I was going to ever recommend, like, advise anybody to start a business, think about what do you want 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years before you even start. Because you have to have that game plan in place. Because there's another guy I know that he's kind of getting wore down from the food truck, industry world. And
can you give me a hint?
Yeah. Is it you? No, I'm just kidding. No,
last week I was.
There's a guy that he does like all hand cut fries, and he's doing all the hand cut fries himself, and he's doing it the right way. And like he's a guy that's.
Is that like just bring on some people?
Huh?
Is that just like bring on some people to do that?
No, he does everything himself.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He's worn out.
Yeah.
Bring on somebody.
Yeah.
Is that an option?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like his brand, his baby. It's what he loves to do at the same time. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things like where you're kind of afraid to step away.
I have this
you know?
fight with people all the time.
Yeah.
You have to bring people on.
Yeah, you have to step away, and that's part of your 5 year. Like it shouldn't be a total shock to you when that time comes. You know what I mean? You should kind of prepare for it. Like you should be preparing to be successful, preparing to grow, preparing to be not you're hands off on the day-to-day stuff, but you're not hands off on the company. And that's where I see a lot of people going, is that they're making a really good living now. Like they're taking their profits, they're the ones working it. But what happens in 10 years?
Is it sustainable?
Yeah. Are you going to be burned out in 10 years? And now what? Now what are you going to do? And so that's kind of like this whole thing. Like when we started seeing the success, I knew that it had an opportunity to like give us the freedom and flexibility we wanted down the road.
It's called deferred benefits.
Deferred benefits?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're deferring.
For sure.
The second half, we're supposed to get the ball. I don't know when the second half is, but
hey, it's a lot more fun than a 401k though.
it can confirm. Yeah, it is. So like mistakes at my job are much more frustrating, almost because I can't fix some of the mistakes on my job.
Yeah.
Here it's like, okay, I hate to say this. God, I'm going to regret this. I almost like when something's happening. It's like, okay,
oh boy,
got a game plan. What, you're thinking on the fly. You're coming up with ideas. And like when the van broke down on Saturday.
Yep, Saturday.
And I'm like, Brandon's not up. I got to figure this out. In hindsight, I don't know if I made the right choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably could have got it fixed there. Probably could have got to the vent. Didn't even think about that. I was like, this needs to get resolved. I got it. $4,000 in food sitting in a truck.
Yeah, you worried about loss. Yeah, that's important.
So you can't dwell on the decisions you make. You got to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's like right or wrong. You got to go with it and live with what you did. So it's kind of enjoyable. As weird as it sounds.
You were up at 5 a.m. when they called you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, they were up at, what time were they here?
Yeah, they don't leave at 5 a.m.
Yeah. So, well, do you know I don't know if we even should say this. She ended her shift at 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She had to be back in like 3 hours.
And she volunteered for that shift.
Well, yeah, they wanted to do it. Yeah.
When she said that, I'm like, no, girl, you can't. What are you talking about?
I know. Well, we just found like a sleeping eyewear in our truck. And that's probably why,
makes sense.
We got them coming back and going.
We got a guy that's his other part-time gig is EMS.
Yeah.
And he works the third shift. I didn't know this either. He got off the third shift and came and worked. I'm like, you can't do that, man. Like,
that's like 24 hours straight of work.
Oh my gosh. She's like, in my world, I do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
If you're in the medical field, you're a different level of crazy.
Different breed, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But
it would be cool, like, talking about our guys, our workers. It'd be cool to bring them on there, and they got a lot of cool stories, man. We don't really catch up to them.
You know what? I'm always jealous. They do a lot of cool things. They
do.
Go a lot of places. They meet a lot of people. They get a ton of food.
They do. They try every truck.
The food trade game is real for those guys.
It is.
There's tons of swag. You ever notice
free
that? There's always swag in the shop.
Yeah, it seems like a fun gig, man.
That's so bad to say.
It is.
Yeah. It's kind of
but to bring them on and because the production guys actually had a really good idea. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you guys all how to steal our ideas. So, they said that I think we talked about this in that podcast too. But in the UK, there's the Spud Brothers, and they literally just have a POV camera. Like of them making food, serving customers, and they got like almost 2 million followers on TikTok. Literally doing day-to-day stuff that our guys do on a daily basis is just exploding with a GoPro headband stuck to their head.
This is gonna kill me because I'm on a streak right now and I regret it. But it's what I'm stuck on right now. Gary Vee is literally doing that.
Really?
He has a live Twitch going with him the whole day.
Wow.
So in his office, it's going nonstop. He mutes it when he's in meetings and everything. In between meetings, he'll unmute it, talk to the crowd, and then mute it again. Do his whole day.
Wow.
So I sat here literally all day while I was working and watched hours of it.
And it's just live.
Now, I didn't watch the actual live stream. I watched. This is what's funny. So he's doing the live stream. He's also filming himself doing the live stream.
Really?
Yeah. So he has like 9 pieces of content going on. He released a book, How to Do 64 Pieces of Content a Day. He's probably doing 300 pieces of content a day.
64 a day.
Oh, he's past that. That was 3 years ago.
You
It wasn't
imagine?
a book. It was like a document.
Is that something you can do? Is that something you can do yourself, or is that
No,
something
he
you
has a crew.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, starting off, he did a lot, but.
that's what I'm wondering. How is that applicable to like a food truck, or like is that something that we could take on?
So Peter did something smart, and I haven't seen it. And I think he was onto something. He put a camera in the corner and filmed his whole day, and put it out there on sped up.
Yeah,
Put that on there with music over the top. People will watch it.
yeah. He time lapsed it, and you seen
Yeah.
how much food he was cooking and how fast. Like, dude, it was
Cranking.
impressive. Yeah,
Him
yeah, by
by
himself.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is super impressive. I'm like, so like things like that, and that's like that could almost work for any business. Obviously, you just brought up, Gary Vee, like in the food truck industry, like your day to day stuff, people are fascinated by.
Yeah, like we could literally put a camera in the corner of one of our units.
I think we have one.
Yeah,
It's a
I
security
don't know if
camera.
I want to watch everything, but and I think about this with everything.
Yeah.
Like when when there was the cheesecake guy was talking about, hey, you should buy the business. I'm like, man, social media could blow this up. There's no social media present for it, and they're one of the biggest brands in mid. They probably are the biggest brand in mid Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, 64 I think is when they started, and there's no social media presence.
There isn't.
That would do the roof.
Yeah.
That's all I think about now when I think about these legacy brands that just there's no social media aspect to it.
Which is unfortunate because now we're seeing the repercussions in one of them, right?
Yeah, so we literally, I don't know why, like it come up on Facebook a couple times, him making an attempt at some advertising, right? And I'm like, oh, he's just not, he's not doing it right, And a week later, it's for sale.
Yeah, and that's funny because you're always like, we should help this guy, and then like I go and look at his content, and there's people offering to help. So you got to be at the point you got to
accept help too, yeah.
willing to accept help. But I mean, it's small things that can make.
But I really do not think he realized how close he is.
Yeah,
He has the brand. It's a legacy brand.
it is a legacy brand.
It is from my childhood. Like I have memories of this. Just that little piece could just rocket it.
Yeah,
There's a place in town. It's a taco joint, and really, really old company.
yeah. You were just telling me about this.
The original owner, he's an old man now. He sold the business to this new guy that had been in managed restaurants around town. He bought it, and he has elevated the food to a whole nother level. I was thinking about the production guys, if we could, convince him to do. He doesn't need the help. Honestly,
Right.
It's like one of those like, this is the spot, but just just to be interesting to see if you could blow that.
What
spot
we could do
up.
for it.
Oh
yeah.
because they elevated the food quality to a whole nother world. Like I want it now. I ate it for lunch today. I want it for breakfast tomorrow. He's starting to do breakfast.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're making me want to go try that place now. I haven't been there in forever, man.
Let's get that super wet, homie.
Is it good?
Oh my god.
Is that what you got?
I got the super wet last week. It's gonna become a problem. I just lost 60 pounds. I'm gonna gain it all back. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Today I got a enchilada, which was phenomenal, and a green meat burrito. So it's like a spicy pork.
Really?
Oh.
I've never had that. I've never even heard of that.
I'm getting a red meat burrito on Friday.
You know what's funny? You talk about these two and these legacy brands is, starting off, like we always have a passion for building our own brand. And I was kind of like, like
We were stuck on that.
Well, yeah. Well, I was like, who would want to buy someone else's brand?
Yeah.
Who would want to franchise? Who would want? But now I have a lot more respect, because
You still got to.
yeah, it's still you still got to have all the grind. You still got to be the right person for the job. It's still all on you. But it's actually nice because the franchise figured out all the basic problems for you, like all the things that you really don't want to spend your time on anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So now all you got to do is grow your business. So
this is becoming a big thing in the world, actually. I think it was Bigger Pockets. It's a podcast I was listening to. Might have been a different one, but one of the big things right now is legacy HVAC companies, right? So these guys that have had this business, you know, if you're in a town, you know the HVAC company in the town, right? You know the 2 or 3 electricians, but they don't have anybody to hand this business down to, right? Their kids, they went to college. They're an accountant, right? They don't want to crawl on ductwork.
Yeah.
The thing right now, and all these guys ran their business on handshakes and writing down all their invoices, right? That's how it's been done forever. So a thing right now is these guys, and actually I met a guy in Frankenmuth that's doing this. He's going in, he's like, if I see a desk full of invoices, I want to buy that business because I know just introducing technology to this business is going to add 40% to it.
Wow.
Because right now they're waiting 2 months for the invoice to get paid, right?
Yeah.
If it gets paid because it gets lost in the stack. Right now they can't take on more business. They don't have a history of what their business did. These old timers have it in their mind, right? So like just introducing technology to it. There's fleet services that can track where your van is, like how close it is to a service call, how long Tom was on that service call. So you're billing accurately. So buying legacy businesses that have been in the area forever. When I say legacy businesses, so you guys know, it's a business that you've seen forever. You're like, oh, that is the place. That's a legacy business. And a lot of these old companies, they're ready to be done.
Yeah.
You know, they want to retire. And the move right now is you can go to them and be like, listen, I want to buy your business, but I want to buy it on your money. Right? So what that is I want a 5-10 year out. So we're going to set up, say, I'm going to give you $300,000. I want to pay you monthly for the next 5 years to fulfill that. So you're getting a monthly income. You'll get maybe a nut off the business, 5%, whatever. So instead of Bob trying to go to the bank saying, I need $1 million, you got the guy that's owned this business. He has no debt on it. He owns the business. He knows it. He now has a vested interest still in making it succeed.
Wow.
And you had 10% out of your pocket.
I haven't heard that. So they're basically, are they borrowing the money against the business to pay it off?
No.
Okay.
No. So they're saying they're going to the owner, and it's owner financing. You know, forever we thought of owner financing as homes, but now owner financing for business is the thing right now.
To buy out the business?
Yes. Because the owner wants to sell this business, right? It's going to be hard for him to find the 24-year-old that's a go-getter with $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go, okay, I'll borrow the money from you for $1 million at 5%. You also get 5% net income off the business. So you're going to be 10. 5 it's at risk, 5 it's guaranteed. And 5 years I'll have you paid off. 10 years I'll have you paid off. So now you're in that business. Say you put 10% down. You're into a business that's generating revenue already. You can look at the books, go, you're profitable.
Yeah.
You're into that business for $10,000. Now you just got to go to work.
What a move.
That's a move.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. You know, so that's, I talk about Kevin. That's probably something you could do.
Hey, man, I see where you're going with this.
It's been stuck in my...
You already got the sales pitch in your head.
Oh, my God. I know. I'm working on it right now, guys. So, but no, that is becoming a big move. And I see that. So that's big with the trades because nobody's in the trades anymore, right? These guys literally can't find people to take over the business. And they're 75 years old. They don't want to crawl in ductwork anymore. And I see that happen with restaurants. These restaurants, they're like, I know that brand. You know, every town has a small restaurant. Been there forever. Those people they want to be done.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, man. Like, I was sad to see there's quite a few establishments that have went out in the last 3 or 4 years. And if someone just came in that knew how to operate it, how to add the social media, how to add the technology, I mean, it would probably still be a business and booming it today.
Yeah.
It's sad to see those goes that somebody else's whole generation was working towards that brand. You know,
John's Driving in town. Like my dad was good friends with the guy that started John's Driving. It was named after his son, who owns it now. But John's old now. Like he's ready to be done. He's taking a payday.
I bet.
Yeah, but it's not going to be John's Driving anymore. You know, it's going to
really?
be it's going to be a well-known franchise. And
is it really?
Yeah, that will never be there again. You know, like the business that has been around since I think the '60s. You know, like it's done. Because nobody wanted to do it. You know, restaurants are hard or whatever, and also probably people maybe didn't have the realization you could go, I don't need $2 million.
Right.
I need $20,000 in a work ethic, and you're
Right.
rolling, and some social. You could have gone. We live in Mount Pleasant, Central Michigan's here. You could have gone on campus, John's Burgers, Five Guys Burgers, had to taste off with students. Tell me which one's better. Everyone would have picked John's because they're the best burgers, and that would have been TikTok gold.
And they're probably
Real
half
gold.
the price. I just went to Five Guys, man.
Yeah.
It is outrageous. Yeah.
But you would have been busier than you could handle just off of that advertising. But
Yeah.
you know, I didn't want to do it.
Right.
Like,
And like you said, people that age aren't doing it. They
Yeah.
probably don't even have they might have a smartphone, but they're not utilizing the smartphone.
no, then not at all. There's
Yeah.
zero, but you couldn't even look up John's driving on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the best burger in mid-Michigan. And John's Country Burger Basket, they'll always remember that, man. That's why I was a fat kid. I literally would go to they lived on Isabella Lake, and my dad and him would remodel Chris Craft's old wooden boats. And his wife, Linda, she was a smoker. She always like, Joe, you're not leaving here without eating. I'm like, Linda, you fed me 6 times. I can't move anymore. But they're old school. They're Greek, I think, and this bomb food. Dad would have to roll me out of there after he worked on a boat for 6 hours, and I ate the whole time.
That's not a bad gig, bro.
I was fat because of it. And they were chain smoking, so probably not the healthiest child. High cholesterol and cancer in my lungs.
But yeah, man. So that's the reason we do this, right? We do this to not only help new businesses start out, really help them to figure out what they need to be successful, because that's all we can do. All we can do is set them up for that foundation, and they got to do the rest. But also businesses that have been around and haven't updated to the times, and there's just simple
Those
things
are
you can
gold mine.
tweak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and the crazy thing is me and you would probably do most of the stuff for free,
I know,
we would help
just,
you out.
just to see if it could work.
Yeah.
I know that Kevin's got me thinking, man.
Yeah.
But I know there's got to be a production end of it too, which we don't know that part of it. I don't know how to increase your production. He's already maxed out, but probably 5-10 times what he's doing.
Yeah.
A real pro would probably mute their phone, but these are. I want to get into those things. And mostly, I just want to see if it works.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost don't care if we make money from it. I just want to see if it works.
I mean, that's kind of the approach we took on our sauce too. It wasn't something that we planned on being super profitable. It's just not, because we have a co-packer. We were doing small batches, and then you're going to spend a little bit more, and then there's retail, wholesale. But to see if it works, and honestly, that's kind of where our production guys started off too. Is they're doing a lot of things pro bono, or whatever, you can say it that way if you want, but they're doing a lot of things that they're not getting paid for to see if it works.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of value to that. There's a lot of value outside of it if you can afford to do it.
They got to learn along the way, how do I ask for money? Not underselling yourself, because right now, somebody's willing to pay, you probably go, yeah. Mm-hmm. How much? I'll take it. When maybe you're underselling yourself. So, those are things you learn, which is fun in the game. But if you're living on that business, you got to learn fast. Yeah, because money's air, income's air. If you're dependent on it, you can suffocate. So
Yeah, so I don't know if we should. I'm just thinking on the top of my head, but this could be a challenge. If anybody hears this and they have a business that has been around a long time, and they're kind of struggling,
Let's see what we can do.
They don't got the social media game down.
We might know some guys.
Some
guys that can do some things.
Exactly, we might know a production team that can help you out.
We didn't mean to make this a sales pitch. This is completely genuine. Yeah, it's so funny. Light bulb moment.
Yeah, it was a light bulb. Exactly.
We need a light bulb.
We do.
I'll have it on a
just
clicker.
click it. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should add that.
That was a light bulb moment about a light bulb moment.
It's a strobe light now. Keep flashing it. Keep flashing it.
I think I'll break something if I try to do this, but not gonna work.
But yeah, the light bulb moment came to me is if we got people out there listening that are struggling, maybe they're even a legacy company, maybe they're a legacy franchise owner, maybe they're they've taken over their parents' business and they don't know how to update it, they don't know how to make it successful. Man, I'm up for a challenge. You know?
Well, you just assume people know social media.
Yeah.
It moves fast. Reels are the thing now.
It is.
Facebook was gone. My niece that just called me was like, Facebook? That's for old people. Well, it's back. Reels are the thing now. And it moves a lot. And to assume that somebody that's working 15 hours a day is keeping up with it, probably not true. All all the trades people my age that I meet, they do not do social media, right? They're too busy. They do not have time for it. So there's a lot of value that a production company that, maybe a couple of young guys that own one could get into doing something like that.
Yeah, and I tried to bring them. I try to let them know and open them up into this industry because I do see the need for it and all. But I'm just saying, like, personally, like, if someone wants to reach out to us about social media, we do. Like, these production guys, man, like, they honestly, they're so valuable. Like, and they're gonna get to the point where they're charging what everybody else is charging, but they're trying to prove themselves. So if you have a business right now and you don't want to spend $10,000 with your local marketing company, these guys will cut you a deal. They'll do a great job, and they're ambitious.
They're spending their money right now.
Yeah, they're ready to go. I mean, that's the thing is that, like, why not take advantage of things that is going to grow your business, and then also learn along the way.
You know something else Kevin said?
No, I don't know.
He said he has a raspberry sauce that he wants to put in retail, and he thinks it would be huge.
Really?
But he doesn't know how to get it into he doesn't know how to do production or retail.
Yeah, we just went through that whole process.
Yeah, we might know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys hear any of these podcasts, man, and you're like, how the heck did you do this? Because we didn't dive into like too much of like how we got into production. Like, reach out to us, or if you want to be a guest.
Most of the time, it's you messaging me at 1 a.m. and me waking up at 7, looking at him like, what is he talking about? And I have to step back. I'm like, okay, hang on, man.
That's happened a lot recently.
Yeah, it's like
too.
A wide view.
Yeah.
This, look at this, and I have to narrow it down to like. This is what
I wish I could be in your shoes someday, bro, and just think what you think, because it's hilarious.
I look at some messages, I'm like, what? There's no way to make cows fly.
Well, I know a guy.
I'm like, hang on, wait 1 second. It is fun.
It is.
We definitely, the only time we get to sit down and talk is when we're doing this.
I know.
So like now I don't even know if we're doing a podcast anymore. If anything's rolling, there might not be anything recording. We don't know what we're doing. These guys brought $10,000 in cameras and audio equipment. We don't know how to run it.
I see one red light. Does that mean it's on?
This is going to be gold that's forever lost. It's like the lost Mario games, But yeah, the only time we get to sit down and talk is when we're doing this. So.
Right. About 2 hours a week.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah, thanks for catching me up to speed, bro. Maybe this should be the catch each other up to speed podcast. Yeah, because there were some few things that, like I said, that I experienced too that I just let you know about. But I don't. I just want to get on, man. I enjoy, I feel like if you have a partner, like, brainstorming with them is so valuable, and like keeping that going. And so this is an opportunity for us to catch up with each other, but it's good for our business, and it's good for and I actually told the production guys this, like we know there's opportunities to monetize this, but the thing is me and you were doing stuff like whether it was improving the food truck, the operations of the food truck, booking things, dealing with problems, or just our normal conversations. Like, I remember you saying to me, like, this could be a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, just our normal conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's 5 years of content that will never be seen. Then.
Yeah, 100%, Yeah. And so that's exactly what I'm thinking is that, like...
You know how funny it would be if there's a camera in the shop and just me, like, no audio. You just see me, like... You fouling around on your phone while I'm sweating, working on something. I mean, just finally be like, Brandon, I'm trying to do this, man. I don't need a bro right now, okay?
It reminds me of those old black and white videos. It's like it makes the music and it's no sound. And
I just racked my head off a wall, and Brandon's like, dude, guess what we could do? Like, not right now, man. It's 3 a.m. and I'm trying to get this ready.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes, bro. It's uncontrollable sometimes.
Could have had
no laser focus.
An A&E show. No, what was the channel that just started picking up terrible shows? You probably don't. I forget which one it was, but like once Gas Monkey Garage caught on, there was a channel that's just like, we're gonna try everything. This is Dave. He walks around. It was so bad. It's like, read this cue card. You could see the cue card on the camera.
It worked. Did it blow up?
No.
It didn't take off.
Lightning in the bottle was already unleashed with Gas Monkey, but
and that's the thing is that we can do it ourselves, bro. Like that's why I enjoy this. It's like it's coming straight from us, and it's all genuine, like you said. Like right now, like I said, they're trying to push in. The content guys are letting us know like there's opportunities for monetization, but really it's just a time to To like,
is that fun?
Yeah, I know. Is
Yeah,
that
how
fun?
much fun do you have doing that?
Is it fun to make money? I don't know. Haven't tried that yet.
Listen to the guys that don't know about making money.
Right?
If you guys want to work for 5 years for free,
Yeah, exactly.
check out this podcast.
But no, like, and that's the thing is that like our game plan is different than most people's, but we could pull a higher salary if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the thing is that a lot of this stuff is growing, and it's, you know, you say 10-year plan and it feels like a long time, but we're more than halfway there.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully.
And you know, you got to take the time to reflect on it and look at, okay, we were here, we are now doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you'd be like, God, what is going on?
Right?
Is anything happening?
It does feel like that,
Yeah.
but you know. But then we have like, I don't want to get into it too much. I don't even know how long we've been talking, but this was on pace to be like a record.
We're over an hour, but
On pace to be a record month for us, you know.
we still are.
And so, you know, and it's exciting. Like, it's exciting to still be growing and still to the point where like you're in new territory. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that we've already done, you know. And
We made a conscious. We had the conversation. Brandon was being very selective with what events he was doing. I'm like, put it to the max.
yeah,
Stuff broke, but
Stuff broke.
it was like a litmus test. Like, how much can we manage?
Uh-huh.
I heard, I forget which guy I heard it from, but he's like, the true essence of success is how much stress and discomfort you can manage.
Really? Yeah, I've never heard that. That's awesome.
It's
a good point.
It's the truth because it's not comfortable. Like every day, going something's gonna go wrong.
Uh-huh.
What do I have to do to fix it? Having a wife yell at you because you've been gone every day of the week. But it is true. Like things are going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not if, it's when. And if you can't stomach it, if you can't go, yep, that happened. What do we do? Then food truck game probably is not for you. But
Right. I mean, any business, like that's what I'm learning more. Any business is a grind, and I don't know, like, what are we sacrificing? You know, like we say, we're sacrificing the 9 to 5 to own a business, and what do we do? I mean, sometimes 9 to 5 is a lot less stressful. You know what I'm saying?
Being a business owner is not wanting to work 9 to 5 to make a living, so you can work 5 to 10 to be broke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I feel good with this podcast. I mean, do you have anything else you want to talk about, or you got to get going, or?
Well, you know, I'm not in a huge hurry, but no, I really enjoy being able to sit down and catch up. You know, we've been really excited about having guests in, and we had another one that is never going to happen, not work out today, and we're like, let's just go anyways, old time's sake. We should have like made some crappy lighting and
We should
broke some stuff just to bring it back to where we started in a cave.
Yeah, it's cool just to, you know, like, guests are always awesome to learn something new, but, you know, this is, like, where we started, and it's cool to, like, be able just to bounce things off of each other still. And if you watch the Bird Eyes View podcast, and actually we did one with, he was on ours too, is talking about the relationship of having a business partner. And, like, you know, there's so many different aspects to that. Like, you know, you do have to make twice as much money to bring home, but, you know, like, one thing Wes said to me is, like, I just wouldn't be having fun if I didn't have a business partner.
We've said that so many times.
Yeah, and that was exactly what we said. Like, are you having how fun would it be to take all this stress just upon yourself?
Yeah,
you know.
It's funny. Tiki Sam was like getting real serious about like money or whatever. We kind of looked at each other like, yeah. But would we be having fun? Like, would we be having a good time?
He's probably asking the questions our wives ask us.
Yeah. It is coming, you know. Of course, I don't think we'd be keep going if like we were failing. But again, we've had a bigger picture. We've had a long-term goal. You know, this business is not. I mean, the food truck business is not the only thing we want to do. It's a catalyst for other things. We really have a long-term dream of being the food truck guys, you know, being the food truck hub. If you have, so cool being able to answer answer questions about food trucks and being a resource to people. But we both want to take that to such a bigger level, like across the board. Like, you want production, you want to buy a truck, you want booking, you know, and with the thought of truly helping the truck, not what does it do for me. because you see a lot of that. We see a lot of these huge events that are going to be amazing and aren't amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have the food trucker in mind. So we know how hard it is. We know the grind. We know the struggle. We know that your wife is mad at you. Your kids haven't seen you. You haven't made your car payment. We know that struggle. And we really, I think we both have the passion of blowing it up with the idea of helping food trucks be successful. So
yeah. And the guys we're going to bring on have such motivating stories. That's just what I'm so pumped about, man. Like, even like, just I hate giving away too much, but just like talking to Peter, talking to Gino, talking to these guys that came here and we weren't able to film it or produce it, but their end stories are so inspiring.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like, you say you're a family, but really like we all go through the same things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like
it's unless you're Skylar.
Yeah,
no complications.
But it's almost like a support group.
Yeah.
Like you get into a support group and you're all going through the same things, and so. It's really cool in the food truck industry because I still talk to people on a daily basis that call me and say like, hey, I'm going through this. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that time, and I still bounce off things, that we've never went through with other people that are either have grown, continue to do multiple units, brick and mortars. Franchising is a big thing that we talk about, but and it's just that camaraderie, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's what we enjoy, and the fact that it's profitable. Like, if you help enough people, man, the money's going to come.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you're doing the right thing and you have a good service and you're really with the intention of helping people, money will result from it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's the measuring stick for your success, but that's kind of all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at a certain point, if you have a roof over your head and everybody's fed, then much more money. I don't know if that's the answer to happiness, but
right.
One of the friends, the guy that died recently from the show, he's like, I wish everybody no, it's Jim Carrey, because I wish everybody could have their dreams and make all the money they had and realize that's not the answer.
Well, yeah, that's good.
It's deep.
I wish that everybody could make all the money.
I wish everybody had met their dream and made all the money they ever wanted, so they could realize that that's not the answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty profound, man.
Yeah.
And that's true because you see that too. You see that with people that have made it to that success. You see, I've known like people that made it to the top and were so wealthy and they missed the journey. Like you actually told that kid that like the journey is part of the reward. You know what I'm saying? The journey is part of the reward. And a lot of people will miss that. Once you get to the top, now what are you looking forward to? Now what, like you're there.
Yeah.
You know what I said? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the top? Like,
yeah, exactly.
If it's a monetized number, then that's not the cool thing to chase. Like,
yeah.
if you want to make money, there's a lot of ways to make money. I mean, we want to make money, right?
Yeah.
But like, do something cool.
Yeah.
Build something.
Yeah.
Create. Hopefully 50 years from now, we're going to remember that legacy brand. Mm-hmm. That's cooler than making money, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right, me too. That's
something our kids can go, yeah, our dads did that. Mm-hmm. You watch these stories about like Henry Ford, like he was cutthroat. He was, he had a game plan and he wasn't getting away from it. But it really for him was like competition, being the best, building something awesome, like revolutionizing production. Money came with it, but I don't think it doesn't seem like that was his goal. Like he wanted he had an insatiable ego, really, to be the best at what he was doing, and if that's what it takes, cool. But he built a state, he built an industry. He revolutionized production. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, his legacy will live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And that will never be us, but we're just not that motivated. Maybe on a little bit of a scale, and we'll have a little bit of a legacy at some point. So.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm good. Like, I want people to start reaching out. Like, I talk to people on a daily basis. This production, I think, is going to start getting a lot more attention, and so we're looking for guests. We're actually booked with guests until about August now.
Cool.
So we need to still start filling. I think we'll easily start filling the fall dates because that's when food truckers start slowing down. So the fact that we got so many guests during peak season is awesome, is incredible. But we're going to be bringing a lot to the table, like our guests will be, and a lot of good information. So
yeah, absolutely.
So where you can find us? You want me to go over that?
Yeah.
You can find our website at www.hibachininja.com. We also are the Entrepreneur group. If you're a food trucker, maybe you haven't found our group yet, join that. It's all just food truckers talking about the day-to-day stuff, some of the problems
That's
they
the
go
real
through.
stuff too.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's real. There's actually no like customers in there. It's all food truckers. So a lot of people are transparent about their numbers, transparent about people they've worked with.
Events not to do.
Exactly. So that group is awesome. And it's a great resource, and you can feel free to, ask any questions that you want to. So you can find this podcast. Maybe you're watching it on YouTube, but it is on YouTube. But again, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. So you can find us in all those different places. So we look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yeah, and you can follow our food truck. Nom Nom Ninjas, the page.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't know any of our other socials. Like, that's our Facebook.
Yeah.
It's the same thing across the board, right?
It's like Hibachi Wraps is like the handle for everything.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool kids with the handles. Yeah. Cool, man.
So,
It's a
yeah.
good time.
Yep. Next time, bro.
All right. Keep trucking.
Keep trucking. See you.